Good morning, and welcome to the Bipolar Sunrise. I'm Garrett Nichols,
I'm Ryan Sullivan.
Nate.
and here we go.
All right.
It's been a couple weeks since I've seen you guys. We got distracted because of my on-call. Stuff came up as, whether you like it or not, happens quite often in life. You want to do something, and life's like, I don't think so.
I think of you every time my city alert goes off and it's a water main break. I'm like, oh, scared out there fixing a water main.
We worked till like 12:30 the other night, and I think they had another one. I don't know what day it is. I don't even want to talk about it, but it's
Right.
like the summertime.
Right.
As water usage goes up, there's thousands of citizens across town watering their gardens, and myself included. I'm like, I gotta get the water. With the uptick in usage, it's gonna happen. And they say, I don't know if there's, I don't know. It's hard to know. But they say too, when the ground dries out and you start to get cracks, it tends to pull things apart, water lines and whatnot. So sometimes main breaks, like the pipes breaking, it's just like maybe joints that need to be packed because the ground shifted enough to just cause them to leak.
Gotcha.
Oh, I would have to guess this isn't something that's exclusive to Emporia, Kansas. I think that we're hyper aware of it because we, deal with it.
Right.
But I think that this old infrastructure is happening across the entire United States. I can't imagine, because the times were always the same for whoever you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's still 1969. It's still 1983 for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the same ideas. I've seen it. I've worked in companies. You've worked in companies. You've worked at places. This, like, if they have a management style, that's what all their companies do. Like, if it's a big industry, Tyson, for example, because that's my best example. Every Tyson's the same. Their pay scales are the same. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not a big geographical difference in pay because Tyson just has a scale. They're huge. It's pretty wild. Anyway, I don't know how we got here.
That's the entire podcast, isn't it? How do we get here?
I guess in my life. I was sitting out here this morning and was like, oh, what's Ryan doing here? As I'm just sitting out there, and like, oh yeah, that's
Podcast.
right. Yeah. Podcast. It's fun. So how's things been going with you, man? I haven't talked to you really hardly at all. How's life been treating you?
Not too bad. It's like anything, ups and downs. You just hope that the ups outweigh the downs.
Are you sore when you get up in the morning, like every morning, or just sometimes? Or do you feel pretty good sometimes?
I feel pretty good sometimes. I can always tell when I've slept and not moved, where you're stiff and you're like, good God. But, for the most part, physically, I don't have any complaints. It's, not a bunch of snap, crackle, pop. Yeah.
Oh man, I've got a whole grocery list of complaints. It's just, I get, so excuse me, I asked you because it's like, I think most people, normal people, are you sore right now? I am.
Yeah, but we're also not rolling around beating the shit out of each
I
other
know,
for
but
hours a day.
it's the majority of people that I talk to, like, they're sore for sure, or injured in some type of way. Oh man, went to the fights in Kansas City last night. My wife and I went, and a couple of my students, and one of my students was was doing a pro fight. I think it's his third fight, and he got kicked in the groin hard. I mean, oh man, it was like, you know, one of those kicks where it like
The whole crowd goes, ugh.
oh, everybody knew. Every dude in the whole place was like, oh man, you know, they really felt for him, and so he got. I mean, it was like a soccer kick. I mean, it couldn't have been.
God.
Everything had to be aligned just right for this to happen, and it was. Everything just got like perfect storm. He kicked and kicked up, and I mean, it just boom. Everything went into place. It was like slow motion, and then everybody's like, you know, like they're holding their, you know, nuts, thinking, "Oh my God, I know how he feels." So, timeout. And Missouri has some weird rules in MMA, and I could be wrong, and maybe they've changed some things, but basically they adopted boxing rules for the MMA, and so, like, if you can't go on after a certain amount of time, it's a no contest, and a no contest on your record's still a loss, you know?
Really?
And so if you wanna have a really clean record of being undefeated, essentially, make your, you know, get you better fights lined up for the future, then that's not something that you'd want on there, I don't think, you know, it's not like, I don't know, I guess it's just one of those deals, but that's what they ruled it last night, so I don't know how exactly. Anyway, regardless, he got kicked, unfortunately, so that did end up in a no contest, but the rest of the fights were pretty decent. It was all amateur. I think there was only 3 pro fights, and one of them ended up being a bare knuckle fight.
Oh wow, damn.
Yeah. Young guy coming up, fighting an old guy on his way out. I thought that this guy's name is J.W. Kaiser, big heavyweight. I thought he was retiring. I thought like that. It felt like the last fight was kind of going to be his last or something, maybe. I thought there was rumor of it, or maybe he posted about it, retiring. And then I saw him walking around, and I thought he was just there just to watch. And no, he fucking was the co-main event of this thing, doing a bare knuckle boxing match.
Damn.
But the young guy, man, what it must be like to be young and be able to move. I saw him, he was down on his knees, the side of the ring, or at the cage, talking to his corner through the cage, while the other guy was getting announced, and they're all moving around. And then he goes to get up, fingers in the cage, and like I know I recognized the shimmy to get up because I use that same shimmy because your knees are bad. It's like move one side to get some momentum and get your leg up, and then you move the other side to get your momentum and do a little jump to see, you know, to stand. And I'm like, dude, you're still out there fighting. That's crazy, you know. Like
Right.
I know how bad it feels to try to step onto that knee fast. It's gonna hurt, you know. Like, oh man. I guess when you do something that you love, man.
Fight through it.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I guess I don't know. Probably why guys die of heart attacks and strokes much faster than women. They cry, talk to people about it. The guys are just like, nah, fight through
Fucking
this.
grin and bear it.
Yeah. You're gonna have a heart attack. I'll fight through it.
It's just a heart attack.
Oh yeah. Is heart disease, I think at least at one time, was like the number 1 killer in the US. Probably still is. Heart disease, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's a bad one. Why don't we make some legislation and just ban heart disease?
There we go. Bomb it.
Ooh,
Bomb heart
there
disease.
you go. While at the same time we'll say no new diseases. And then bomb fucking heart disease.
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of a crazy deal. It feels like, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like we've been terrorizing the Middle East for like
Right.
like since I don't ever remember.
I was in middle school when Desert Storm started.
I was gonna say I don't ever remember not being at war.
It seems like once Desert Storm hit, we've just been in a perpetual war with the Middle East.
They just, yeah. It's kind of a wild one because there's some people out there that would argue that basically the U.S. has always just done what Israel needs done. I don't know what reason or not. It seems like they've been, I don't know. It seems like, oh man, it's just, it would be nice for one time in my life. It's not just, there's been war my whole entire life. As I've grown up in YouTube, both of you, you have to, if you've been growing up in the last, 50 years, there's some kind of war worldwide for sure. But just the U.S. itself, the majority of my life has been at war with somewhere in the Middle East. Fill in the blank on where and for what reason. And there's been multiple conflicts, I mean, when was the last big, I guess, deal? Well, before 9/11 was, what's his name? Saddam. They was searching for weapons of mass destruction. Again, some people would say that there was never any weapons of mass destruction. That was just a good U.S.'s way to slide in there and get the stronghold on the opium production over there and the oil, and that like during Operation Desert Storm and then whatever that war turned into, Iraqi freedom or what you fill in the blank.
Right.
Also, they're just over there guarding poppy fields, and instead of really, the people they're killing are people that are threatening, our opium fields because where's the poppies growing? It's not, we're not having fields full of poppy, it's corn. Everywhere you look, anywhere you drive in the United States, it's fucking thousands of acres of corn everywhere. Somebody's growing opium though. And so there's pharmaceutical companies worldwide, India, big manufacturer, United States. They're getting their heroin from somewhere. I mean, who else grows poppy? Where else grows?
Yeah.
It's like the perfect place for it. And oil.
And
It's
oil.
like the perfect place to make fucking trillionaires. Yeah, there's dudes that they own like a city. Like they have so much money, they're so wealthy that like the city of Emporia would be like they own the whole fucking thing and they live like in the center of it. And the whole town is theirs, they bought.
Theirs. Can't imagine.
Yeah, you've never had a Saudi prince call you up and tell you,
I had him email me.
dude. So
I had a Saudi prince email me saying if I would just pay the fees of helping getting his account unlocked, he'd make me a millionaire.
how many do you think there are? How many Saudi princes? Like actual Saudi princes, not the ones that are just trying to get a buck off of poor people.
Shit, it's hard. I don't know.
I think it's a big number.
I'm sure it probably is.
I mean, but not so big that they're calling, millions of American citizens and just saving them. Isn't that crazy that we're willing to? I'm not saying that you guys or myself, but like as humans, there's something that's too good to be true, but you like get blinders because you want this specific thing so bad.
Yep.
Like this thing you want is like to be able to be carefree and do what you want, not have a 9 to 5 and all that stuff. So you're like, oh yes, this prince.
It's legit. He picked me in Emporia, Kansas. I am special. I am the one.
Have you seen the guys? There's reaction videos, and they'll do like, I don't know exactly how it works because I've just come across clips of them. I think they're reacting to a phone conversation between a scammer, and they're these like, most of them are Indian, and they figured out how to scam the scammer, and he's freaking no, no, just screaming at the phone, and then oh man, that's wild. That's and there's call centers like full of those guys. All they're doing all day long is trying to call people and tell them that some kind of solid story. They're a prince. They're, look, I just ran out of gas. I know uh, this is real. You can trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust
Yeah.
me. Working harder at getting out of work.
Well, and even on a small scale, there's people that use Snapchat or, you know, and do it on there.
They use they set up these little shops on Snapchat.
And it's, you know, hey, I can't get diapers for my kid, or you know, and
Yeah.
if only one out of every 20 people send it to them, but you're sending it to hundreds of people,
Yeah.
you know, $20 turns into $1,000, and they you know, just laughing at you. Because there's always going to be that one person that believes a sob story. And it's, what's $20?
Yeah.
You know? It's kind of like, you know, when you hear people say, gave $20 to the homeless guy. Hopefully he gets food, but if he uses it to buy booze, it was only $20. Well, I think there's same people with scammers that they're like, even if I'm being scammed, it's only $20.
And how many people are that way? You know, like, just don't care enough.
Yeah. You know, you got people that are lonely, these girls that prey on older men.
Or any man.
Or any man, but, you know, I worked with a guy that it was, oh, that's my girlfriend, and, you know, everyone else is like, oh, man, come on, buddy. But it's, oh, no. And it's like, you know, well, you're not sending her money. Well, she couldn't cover rent. And it's like, have you ever met her? Well, no, but she's my girlfriend. It's like, God dang, man.
How often do you think that happens?
Probably
A
more
dude,
than
a dude falling, like just sending a girl money, sight unseen, all that.
probably quite a bit.
On a daily basis, let's just stick to the United States. Because there's some simp bastards out there.
There is.
Dude.
Well, loneliness does, you know, it does a number on people.
What about AI girlfriends?
Oh, I bet that's gonna be horrible now.
There was already a movement, I don't know.
Some guy turns himself into an AI chick and just, you know what I mean? That's what I always laugh about. It's like they send this picture that they probably stole from somewhere on the internet. And it's
Almost
probably
guaranteed,
some
yeah.
dude sitting behind his computer just laughing, raking
Yeah,
in
he's
the,
sitting there. Oh, yeah. Golly, that's wild. I mean, that's kind of wonder where, like right now, that's where I kind of see like AI creeping in and doing some weird stuff. Nothing nefarious, but it's just like, I'm sure most of the algorithms in the beginning for AI are going to be how to get people's information.
Mhm.
That's just what like Google does now. Like I'm sure they're just making their equipment and their software better and better to collect information because they want to cater, they want to take your money. That's what it is. I mean, it's literally like the ultimate scam is like Google, right? That's, but it really is, you know, like that's like, they're the best at collecting your information than anybody probably. Maybe Apple might have them beat, but regardless, it doesn't matter that they're competing. These companies are competing to see who can make the disclaimer that you have to sign on the phone 36 pages long, so that you just sign it. And once you do, oh man, you've agreed to pages and pages and pages of kind of material that you're not going to be able to litigate your way out of. You signed it, You
Yep.
know, you said you agreed to the terms. You said you even said you weren't a robot. You
Yep.
know, and
Yeah.
boom.
Yep. Well, I mean, hell, look at Snapchat. If you don't have any friends on Snapchat, they have an AI friend that you can
I
create.
think most of these places do
So,
now. Most
you know-
Meta has across their board. They got Instagram has like when you're scrolling down through your news feed, it'll come up and it'll say suggest. You know how it would say suggested friends or something similar to that. It's got 30 different AI personalities that you can talk to. Like what? Oh no, I don't know about that. But it's just more time, the more chances that you have to look at something like a ad. So I don't think it's nefarious in a way that's like, but it can be. And that's what, I don't know, man, that's crazy. That the AI is just gonna be used to not only advertise to you to get your money, but that's what it is being used for. Like it already is. Where do we go from here, guys? I mean, how smart are you? I can't balance my fucking checkbook. What am I gonna do against a not even supercomputer, just a regular phone that has AI on it, has at least, look, my filing cabinets are full. I just can't access any of the files. I got a phone that will access every file.
Well, that's it. Phones, man. I mean, they're just as bad as AI anymore. I was watching a commercial this morning where you can take a picture of something and talk to your phone and say, how does this work? And it can automatically see what you're pointing your camera at and go, oh, these go together, it's like a flush valve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now your phone can just sit there and, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, gee, tell me what this is, I don't know a tree or a plant.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it and, oh, it's a rhododendrons. It's
Tells you how to
crazy.
take care of them. They prefer this soil. They prefer this much light. If you're having yellow leaves, then you need to do this. Like it
Yeah.
literally. Yeah. You think people are gonna? Okay. We've talked about it before, but like people said when books first came out, I know that's crazy. I wasn't there, but word is, there were people against the idea of books, because then they said like what I'm about to suggest is people won't be able to make their brain strong and memorize things anymore. You gotta keep telling the stories through oral tradition. If you write it down, people will forget it, even though that's like an oxymoron because they can't forget it because you wrote it down. But of course, historically, we lose a lot of history that's been written down through fire and other destruction, war.
Mhm.
Yeah, if the electricity goes out, most of our information is online now. Like they're not even bothering. Some things are going from computer through email and never seeing it to the light of paper. Right at this point in time, especially with AI. Holy shit! Have you guys seen those? All right, I'll tell you how it works. I don't know if you know this, and you probably do. The AI Bigfoot. The Bigfoot vlogs, oh god, they're hilarious, a lot of them, it's funny. They have religious ones where it's like, Jesus had an iPhone, he's got a selfie stick, he's like, alright guys, about to go talk to my dad, But it's just people that are paying some kind of AI program. They verbally speak into or type in the story, and then AI makes it. And those Bigfoot vlogs, like the chicks in them and the dudes in them look real. We don't know what Bigfoot looks like, but maybe AI figured it out, and that's what Bigfoot looks like, more of a monkey, whatever. But they're making these videos. It's like $100, and it writes your story, puts color to it. It's a movie. It's a mini clip. It's a trailer for your movie, and AI did it all, and it's good.
Yep.
Like the humans in it look real. It's wild. Have you seen the news? They have like 5 different news anchors, and the first lady's up to here in water, and it's pouring down rain, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm not real. And then it goes to the next clip, and it's a dude standing on by a beach, and he's telling a story, and a big kraken comes up, and he's like, "And I'm not real." And it goes on through like several of these, and I would have thought every single one of them was real. I mean, I would have had to really look and pay attention, and maybe I would have never guessed it. So what are movies gonna be from now on? No actors, right?
Right.
Because why would you need them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna do something.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood kind of has this really weird vibe to it anyway. So you wouldn't have any more people getting rich as shit just for being hot and fucking be able to pretend real good. I mean, because that's what actors do. It's cool, right? It's been like the way of entertainment for a long time, but even, I don't even know if movies are any going to be because of the way that we have such short attention spans and love to see a short video and then another short video and another short video of different things all in like, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, there may not, movies may be just short, like, I don't know, 30-minute clips, short documentaries.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. Some of it, like, technology's getting to the point where it's almost scary for me. Where it's like, are we playing with fire here, or are we?
I don't think in our lifetime, you know, I don't think that we'll be affected too much in the next, 50 years.
Well, like you said, actors, the more people that AI replaces, what's the stopping point?
Well, they made a couple documentaries about this. Terminator 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I think that's probably what we all thought, but I don't know. When were the Jetsons? The cartoon Jetsons, when were they? Wasn't it like now, 2025?
Probably so.
They're living in the clouds in these weird pods and driving little space cars that still put off exhaust for some reason.
Right.
They're a little sputter around up in space and then all of a sudden take off in a cloud of exhaust fumes. But we didn't make it. There's no flying cars besides, they've got those little things that look just like drones, like four propellers on each side. They're loud as fuck, super loud. Be like a helicopter, landing in your neighborhood.
Right.
But they haven't found out that we know of any propulsion systems that don't take some kind of fossil fuel.
Pyramid dust.
Man, if you want to get me riled up on the pyramids, go right ahead.
We know you like your pyramids.
I would like to know a couple of things. I would like to know how old, what's the oldest, when was the beginning of humans? Like when, can we put a solid date on, let's say, our ancestry? Like where in time on this earth did we start? And in relation to when the pyramids were built. You know what I mean? Like there was some kind of a civilization, clearly, that was like in kind to our modern civilization, to where they had artists and they had laborers and they had stonemasons. So that's a culture. It's a civilized culture. You don't get there from chucking spears at each other. nobody to this day, there's people that claim, and they have great, awesome, cool theories on what they might be, but nobody, it's like the Bible. Nobody knows. You can't say the Bible's a scam, but you also can't point to anything specific that backs up what the Bible says. There's no way, and that's just with any kind of text or doctrine. There's no real way to know except for, have faith.
Right.
Pretty wild.
It really is.
The pyramids, man. They're really getting going. Well, I mean, if like I said, there's some kind of civilization that popped up at some point in history. And not only, I mean, there's other pyramids around the pyramids, but they're not constructed exactly the same as those before. Were those the practice ones? Or were those the people that came along and tried to mimic them after? Or was it the same people that are just like hired? Sometimes you get a high bid contract and they come in with the flashy stuff and equipment and do it all quick and nice. And then you get these guys that are low bid.
Right.
Like, well, we had 5, pyramids to build, and we needed you to give us a time limit, so we had to hire old, your nephew. He's like, oh no, that was the pyramid for Khufu, right? And he's like, yeah. Oh, I could tell. You had to hire my nephew. Oh, Jesus Christ, his pyramid's crooked. You could see it noticeably over there, where it's just not the same craftsmanship.
They even say that there's a pyramid up in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And
Say there's pyramids on the moon. And in the ocean, which I believe that there probably are.
yeah, and I think the reason why we don't either explore the ocean or we keep the information about exploring the ocean silent because it will either prove or disprove a major theory, or that the society has built their beliefs around, and if this information comes out, then everything's debunked. It's like if there's pyramids in the ocean, then what does that mean about everything else that we believe in? Because it means that there was some sort of cataclysmic event that reset everything, or it means that there were aliens, or it means or there's people living in the ocean.
That's cool one that I've heard recently. A lot more talk about it. Sometimes I hate to be this way, but why not? I guess somebody's got to be. But I feel like sometimes we're getting fed the information that like, I guess to give an example, if there was a car out there that turned into a transformer out there, we have an expectation of what that would look like. And if it didn't look like Optimus Prime, we'd be like, wait a second, is this really a transform? Because I wouldn't say it's something like it's a conditioning deal, but at the same time, I think it's like everybody seems to be in agreement what aliens look like. Even though we've never really seen one, we would expect that maybe no mouth, big eyes, big head, skinny body, looking pale and sickly, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? So like maybe sometimes, well, I know Hollywood, it's always the same thing. Everything's the same. Like when people die, it's always the same, those last words that they get in there. It's like, and we've talked about it before, like that's the expectation that you have is what you've seen. Like if you've walked up on a dead body, you expect it's bloated, and there's gonna be a stick nearby that you can poke it with. Like that's the expectation of what we're supposed to see. I don't know, that's pretty conspiratorial, because, you know, a lot of people have to be involved in some kind of a scam like that, but at the same time, I think that there are subtle pushes, and it's gonna get worse. Because now there's equipment, there's AI, like we've been talking about, that specifically looks for those type of characteristics in somebody, like how they, you know, deal with those situations and what they look up, you know, there's just constant bots everywhere too. Even like when you see in the YouTube algorithms and Twitter and Facebook and all these social media, there's millions and millions of bots that are just coming in there and saying things that you would be like, to make you argumentative. Like if you're talking about a conflict, they'll just pick the side that you're not on and say, oh, and then start feed. It's not even real. It's a bot. It's a bot, and you're interacting with them, and you might have a real bad day, and you're out there flipping people off. You know, you're driving through traffic fast, like, why is everybody driving so slow? Slamming your hands on the wheel, flipping people the bird. You know, all because this bot on social media said that you were fat. You know, they're good. They're good. And I mean, I'm sure that they have, like, why are there the bots? I think initially, like, they want them to collect information, but I think that you can really, I know that you can really, really, really sway a lot of people with like just a video on Facebook, just a video that goes viral for whatever reason, or has some kind of a message, and it's just, there's people that are good at marketing, and that it may not be marketing say specifically like Target, to get people to go shop at Target, but to get you to have your mind, in the back of your mind, something you saw on Facebook, maybe it was a political post, maybe it was a alien post or a Bigfoot post. I like your shirt. I just noticed a minute ago. That's pretty cool. Got the Loch Ness Monster, alien, and Bigfoot on there. Which
Alex got it for me.
Who do you think would win in a fight between Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, and an alien?
I think the Loch Ness Monster has the water advantage.
True. If they're fighting in the lake, Bigfoot's gonna be fucked. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
The alien could probably mind control both.
Yeah. Could probably end it.
I wonder why we think that though. Like, would you think that if you've seen this type of creature walk past and then just fucking phase in here or whatever, that they could mind control us?
Yeah. I read an interesting theory that they're just us, humans, so far advanced in technology and the future that they are coming back to see what they're back in time to see like their ancestry, and it because they say that our bodies are kind of going towards that anyways, like the bigger eyes and smaller mouths, and that's why we have to get some of our wisdom teeth taken out and all that stuff, and eventually we're gonna look like them in the future. And the smaller mouth is because they have the ability to communicate with their brains and stuff instead of with verbal stuff. And yeah, I think they probably can mind control us. I don't know.
People can mind control us already right now.
That's true.
Like David Koresh and Jim Jones, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys out there that are smooth talkers. What's the guy that in Texas that has the super church? You know, that has the jets and Lambos, and he's high roller for you know who.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Anyway, doesn't matter. There's guys out there that, and some ladies too, that have a way of charming and being what do you call it? Like when you're suave and charismatic. And some people have it, like Charles Manson was a good one. I mean, ugly motherfucker if you ask me. Charles Manson was never good looking. Yeah, I saw his mugshots from back in the day. Not a not an attractive dude, but shit, he had like a whole colony of people following him around.
Yeah.
Using his mind. I mean, I think the guy was probably, I think Charles Manson was probably being at least coached by someone, and potentially the drugs were being supplied to him from potentially, of course, the United States government, because they do that type of stuff. I mean, you can't say they don't do any. Somebody say they're not responsible for Charles Manson. Okay. But you will agree that they have used LSD in experiments against citizens without their knowledge. But, okay, it's not Charles Manson, but they have done them.
Right.
Yes, okay, so it wasn't Charles Manson. Government didn't have anything to do with that one. I mean, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, same situation. Had a crazy ass child upbringing. You guys know about like his story? Have you ever seen the documentary?
I watched that.
He was left alone for like weeks when he was a baby, like separated from his parents and kept in isolation. Some sickness, like maybe an autoimmune deficiency or whatever, and just that that separation from the mom and the family and being isolated for that amount of time, psychologically for some reason toasted him. And then to make things worse, he was like really smart, and kind of the trauma from being separated and the high intelligence, and then whatever life experience he picked up between when he was young and when he decided to, you know, go ahead and start blowing shit up. Crazy. And there's some conspiracy to, well, I don't know. I know he was a crazy bastard, but that would suck to get isolated at a young age. I think, like, we see what it does to, like, parents. Like, we see what the postpartum does to mothers, because it's like out right in our face. Mothers, oh yeah, what's wrong with her? She had a baby, she's not, you know. But you never, the kid, that trauma for the kid's not coming for another 15 or 18 or 20 years. You know what I mean? They're gonna be full grown by the time that trauma is, you can see how it has affected their life, and there's choices that they've made. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You could be born here in Emporia and have this life, but you could have been born in India and just starving your whole life.
Yeah.
With no resources. I don't know about India, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yep.
Or you could have been born in Thailand, or you could have been born in Germany, or wherever. But just like, so, for some reason, some happenstance, you ended up in your shoes, I ended up in mine, he ended up in his. That's wild, man. I don't know what we're talking about this morning, but it's interesting to me. There's a lot of bouncing around. Are you guys doing anything this summer? You guys gonna have any plans to partay or anything? Go to the lake?
I think we're gonna do some camping, but
4th of July, have you guys talked about that? What, are you gonna shoot off some fireworks?
I don't know.
I'm a little old for that.
I was gonna say, I'm not a big fan of fireworks. I think they're just a huge waste of money myself.
Man, I tend to agree with you. I'm alright popping off a few. You know, it's fun to, some of the shows, you know, I think as long as it's not too mosquito infested, I hate getting ate up, sitting out there watching, you know, fireworks blow up. But when you were a kid, did you get your He-Man dolls and shit, take fireworks to them and try to blow them up? I'm sure you did the same thing.
Stick them in ant hills,
Yeah.
firecrackers in ant hills, and blow the ant hills up, and yeah.
Every single year complaining because the fireworks weren't nearly as strong as they used to be. Well, it really was. For us, being that our ages, there was way less restrictions when we were kids on fireworks.
Yep.
I mean, my uncles were shooting off shit that I was like, what is. Of course, again, you know, you think about it, when you're only this tall, firecracker that's an M80 is gonna look like a half a stick of dynamite to you, and maybe sound like it too. That's another fun topic of how your memory, you remember things one way and somebody that was maybe been right there remembers something a totally different way. That's always gets me. So like, what's real? What's real if you can remember something to be a different way? Have you guys ever been hypnotized?
No, I refuse.
Yeah, you never know. You might, like, you're never gonna come back from it. Is that,
Yeah, with
that's
that,
what I think. I'm gonna get hypnotized. I'll
I
always think I'm
don't
a
trust
chicken.
that people wouldn't ask weird shit or shit I've repressed and kept down. They're like, hey, ask him about this, and I'm over there just blabbing my shit out.
Well,
Everyone hates me when I wake up.
it was just a doctor in there, but now your whole entire family is in the room when you wake up.
Hell no.
That would be kind of fucked up, but that would be funny. Yeah, it's just you and the doctor, like, all right, man, we're gonna cure you.
Yeah.
And it's really just an intervention. First thing you hear when you open your eyes, and everybody's saying, God, what an asshole.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. You're a dick. You're a liar.
You're like, what the fuck? Where did all you come from?
Yeah. Hell no.
Well, I never have either that I know of. You can't say you've never been hypnotized.
Well, that's
That
true.
you know of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And
Good
you're
point.
not gonna remember any of this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched, what the heck was that show called? Now You See Me? Or Now You Don't? Or Now You, yeah, it is Now You See Me.
Now You See Me
And there's
with
a Now You See Me
Leonardo
too.
DiCaprio. Or no, that was Catch Me If I Can. Now You See Me. Yeah, Now You
With
See
the-
Me is of magicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the guy from Hunger
Those were
Games.
good, yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool, you know. I like the story, and the actors were pretty good in it too. That first one was really, anyway, really cool. Magicians and illusionists, and that guy Woody Harrelson played, where he could. I'm not sure how he was getting people into their hypnotic state, but he would like bump them a few times or push him, and I don't know. That's a little bit far-fetched, but who am I to say Woody Harrelson doesn't have what it takes to hypnotize somebody? But imagine if that was, like, people would just walk up and bump you and then be like, you know, all right, you're gonna go around the corner, and as soon as you get around the corner, you're gonna pull your pants down around your ankles and start beating your meat and walking on home.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be wild. But I mean, there are people out there that like are good pickpockets, which blows my mind when they take people's watches off the wrist. You think that your, you know, wallet's secure in your fanny pack that's zipped up, and these guys are like walking past you once and then walk around the whole entire block to meet you again and steal your phone after they unzipped it the first time, and then they reach in there and get your shit out. Can you imagine? How do you get good at that?
I don't know.
How do you get so fucking good at? Is that what these hypnotists do? They just get really good at. There was a guy on that was a mentalist on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he like, I don't know how he did it. Figured out his PIN number on his debit card twice, 2 different times, and then he had put this envelope. And when he got there, he's like, all right, Joe, it's a FedEx envelope, and it's closed, sealed up. And he's like, I'm going to, you know, we're going to wait till the end of the show to reveal these. And into the show comes, and during the podcast, he'd said some things. And then he told Joe what those things were and what the number is going to be once you open the envelope. And it was exactly the number. There was like 3 things that he had: an envelope, and then an envelope, and an envelope, and an envelope, and an envelope. And every time he opened one, he predicted that Joe was going to say these things. And fucking sure enough. And it was like, he'd ask him, who's the best fighter, in your mind. And then he's like, you were thinking, or the best fight you've ever seen, whatever. He's like, you were thinking this guy. And he's like, yeah. He said, but right before that, you were thinking, and he said, Muhammad Ali. He's like, open that envelope. And he opens it, it said Muhammad Ali. And this was during the show. This is at the end of the show when he said, okay, now open the envelope. And I was like, what the fuck? But this guy's called a mentalist. And I think he does he does speeches and kind of tells you how to do this stuff. Maybe, I don't know what the fuck the guy does, but is it smart or just like reading people, looking in their eyes, and then somehow figuring out their PIN number on their debit card by just having a conversation? That's what this guy does. He's like talking, and he's like, well, okay. He says how he leads the conversation and push it into a direction, and he would say a thing. The one was, he's like telling, he said, okay, you want to do your first girlfriend? Okay, of course. And he's like, say this, but don't say this. He's like, M. He's like, Mary was her first name, and he's like, what? Yeah. And so he just said these little commands, and he's like, as he's saying them, he's like counting. And he's like, okay, stop there. He's like, was it Mary? And he's like, yeah, her name was Mary. He's like, okay. And she was 20. And he's like, yeah, she was 20. He's like, okay. And just having the conversation, the cues that he was using. But I'm like, how do you keep track of all that shit in your head?
Right.
It was wild to me the way he was doing. And he would do this to everyone. I don't know. Pretty cool shit. Have you guys ever seen a magician? Like a real one, not like at the state fair.
I don't know that I've ever gone to like a professional magician show. I don't think so.
I haven't either, but imagine Chris Angel, that'd be cool. He does some cool ass shit.
Yep.
And how?
Same with David Blaine.
Same with David Blaine, both of them. Like, how do you flip cards at the window? And then
Back in my day, it was David Copperfield was the big magician.
Yeah.
He'd have the big TV special where he was going to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, or
Yeah, he did major stunts too.
yeah, major stunts. So David Copperfield was like my David Blaine or Chris Angel back in the day.
That would be a pretty good task to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, but
We were doing card tricks at the house the other day.
Yeah.
And it's all sleight of hand. It's all, and my trick was leading people to a certain card that I already knew I was gonna have them pick, and then you pull out the card and it's because I forced them to. But he had a trick that it was like, what the fuck? And then Alex had a trick. We're all going, what the? It's that little kid excitement in you that it's like,
yeah.
That was magic.
It's like you're so focused on trying to figure out how it's happening right under your nose because you're too focused on the wrong stuff. Yeah, the guys that do the cards, that do the tricks, and like they're rolling the damn card in their fingers, and then the next thing you know, like they're like, I don't know, the picking the card, and then there's that, and that's cool as shit too, because I have no idea how that works. But then there's like, you picked up a deck of cards when you got to the show, and now he's telling you to pull them out, and there's a card with his autograph on the 3 of diamonds that you picked out of
It's
the
like
deck.
inside an apple.
Yes, inside apple. Like, how'd you do that? Like, where did the apple even come from? And now there's a card in it.
Yep.
That's pretty wild. But this is like, you think of it, this is one of like the world's oldest professions is like comedy and card tricks and parlor games, jesters for kings.
Yeah.
They're like, make me laugh, and the jester's like, oh man,
Keep them entertained.
running out of card tricks here. It's like, I think that's why they come up had so many cards in the deck. They're like, oh shoot, I only got like these 3 cards. I can't do much with it. You know, I've got to invent a deck of cards that really has, like, I got it. I'm gonna assign, you know, some kind of symbol and a number, and I'm gonna have this many in a suit. And then that's how cards got invented from jesters. Just like, God damn, we need a bigger act.
Yeah.
King's getting bored, and we saw what happened to the last jester. You know, his head's rolling around down there still. Boss wanted to set an example. Oh. That's. All right. I got nothing else.
I didn't sleep worth a shit last night, so I'm kind of in a fog and brain dead this morning, I guess.
Yeah, we got back at like 12 o'clock.
God, I'm sure you're tired.
Yeah. I'll take a nap later.
We stayed up till
I always say that.
11 something last night just shooting the shit. And I just could not sleep last night.
Listen, next Sunday, since you guys are doing card tricks, I want to see somebody able to flip the deck of cards.
Dude, I
out the window.
wish. And make it so your card stick.
I don't care if it's even my card, just one on the other side.
I
of
wish
the
I could
glass.
fling the cards like they do, where they get it to stick in an apple or, man, them guys are zinging them cards.
You have to do it only one way. There's only one way to get that card to fly straight and like seeming as it has weight all of a sudden. When I do it, it just floats to the ground,
Right.
wobbling toward the ground.
Yeah,
And they do it, and it
like a weapon.
sticks. Yeah. How long does it take to learn that shit? Because it seems like when those guys know how to do one of those tricks, they know how to do a bunch of them.
Yep.
You know.
well, we all had that one friend that was just like magician nuts when they were a kid. At least I did. You know, he always wanted to do magic tricks or wanted a magician at his birthday party but the kid, I remember, he knew a lot of tricks. It was, so, you know, I think it's like anything else, like I'm into Magic the Gathering. So, you know, I love it. I try to build decks. I'm not very good at it yet, but playing. And I think it's like anything, if you find something that grabs your interest, then you do it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I think it's kind of like when you said stealing shit, you know. I'm sure they got buddies they practice on. Did you feel that? Yep. Try again. Did you feel that? Yep. Try again. Did you feel it? No. Holy shit, no. You know?
Yeah.
And so I think it's anything that you become infatuated with that, you know, you don't mind investing the time.
That's my story. It's when I want to go into something, I go in full force.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not interested in it, then
Screwed.
yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
Don't even want to pretend.
Yeah.
What time's your watch got on there?
It's 7:59.
We got started pretty much on time.
Mm-hmm.
Got about an hour in. You guys good to go?
Good.
Yeah.
Next week I won't be so brain foggy.
Hopefully yeah, sorry guys, too, I didn't get back into town till late last night and I sweat last night. I woke up sweaty this morning, like what in the hell happened? It's muggy out, our windows were open, we had a fan on, I thought that would be enough, and it has been, excuse me, up until now, but it's time to put the ACs in the windows.
Yep.
It's hot in our bedroom. I want to make it ice cold. All right, well, guys, we're gonna sign off for now, and we're gonna get back with you on next Sunday.
Yep.
We'll be a little bit more awake and alert So, all right, thank you guys. Oh, damn, you hear all those pops?
I did hear
Yeah.
all those pops. Holy shit.